Today, we're excited to have on executive consultant and coach, Dr. Pat Boulogne. Dr. Pat's journey is a testament to her unwavering commitment to the well-being of individuals. Originally retired and residing in Boston, she was drawn back into action by a profound realization of the impact of environmental toxins on people's health. The catalyst for her mission was a CDC study revealing the alarming presence of over 212 suspected dangerous chemicals in the blood and urine of most Americans, with an estimated 50% projected to be diagnosed with chronic diseases by 2030. Sounds familiar, yes? With a robust background, Dr. Pat holds a bunch of different degrees, and it looks like I'm going to let her explain some of those. But today we're going to dive into her unique approach to health and wellness, exploring the intersections of functional medicine, lifestyle solutions, traditional Chinese medicine, and more. So without further ado, please welcome Dr. Pat to the show. Well, Dr. Pat, we appreciate you jumping on the show. Again, introduce yourself to the audience. Introduce yourself, like kind of a little bit of the background. Can you share more about kind of the journey and kind of how you got into the position that you're in now?
Sure. My father, one time when I told him I didn't want to go to college, thought it would be a really great idea to hop in the car because I lived in the suburbs, and go hop in the car. And we decided we're going to go to Detroit and have something to eat. And I thought, I can't believe he's so agreeable that I don't want to go to college. And so we get in the car, we're driving in, and we get off at the exit for Old Tiger Stadium. And so we pull into that area and he just pulls down the street and he said, "Get out of the car." And I said, "Why is that?" He goes, "Because if you don't go to college, this is where you're going to live." And that was like where the riot started in 67. And so I go, "There's no way in God's green earth I'm getting out of this car." And so I go, "I'll go to the college of your choice." So I went to college. I went to Eastern Michigan University, and I really had I've always had an inclination for science, and all my classes were all pre-med by accident. It's just the classes that I was interested in. And then a friend of mine said, "You should go to chiropractic school." And I was working in the hospital, University of Michigan Hospital at the time. And I realized that nobody that was in there was going to leave there healthy except for people who were in the maternity ward. And they were the only people that were happy. And it was depressing. Like every time I got out of work and I came down as my independent study. And then shortly around that same time, my friend going to school said, "You should do this." And I said, "I don't want to do it, be a chiropractor. I mean, they're quacks, right?" And so, but I hurt my shoulder in when this waitress job that I had. And I went to see this chiropractor. And I thought, man, if this guy can do it, so can I, and I can do it better. And so I called my friend up. I said, "I'm coming. I'm coming to school." And I never looked back. It was such an awesome experience to see people be able to get into that headspace of being well. In like, because if you think you're not going to be well, you won't. And when you have that mindset, and you can visualize the things that you want to have happen in your life health wise, it was easy to follow that path. And I had some really wonderful mentors in chiropractic. And also I have an acupuncture degree. Also, I have a master's in Oriental medicine, and I'm also a licensed acupuncturist in many states. So putting all those pieces of the puzzle together was so cool because they're like, "Oh, that's why the Chinese study this, we study this, and this is how it coincides, and this is the reason why it works so well." So it was really one of those, like, when you're funneling in, you're making something, you're looking at all the ingredients, go, "I don't get this." And then when it comes out, you have the perfect cake. I have seen and witnessed people like very, very sick, like coming in with the flu, kind of thing. And as I always told them to come in because I had a remedy for it. And then leaving and calling me 2 hours later to go, "Man, I haven't felt this good in years." And so it was just really great to put, to trigger in and like type into the body, so to speak, what it is that they wanted to have and where they're at, and then give a great plan in order to go from point A to point C.
From chiropractic how did we get into Oriental medicine? Like, was it that the mentors pointed you in that direction, or like, how'd you go that direction?
I was getting divorced, and my I was going to go to law school, and I studied for the LSATs, and I did really well on them, except that my husband pulled he sidestepped something, which totally sidestepped my ability to go to law school. So I started going back into things that I always had an interest in. And so I started looking at going to, acupuncture school and studying herbs. And one thing I found out about that same time is that I had an ancestor who was the apothecary to the House of Bourbon and in France in the 1600s. And my girlfriend used to say to me all the time, she goes, "See, I told you the DNA doesn't change. 400 years, it doesn't change." Has this always been my interest because it's like the whole concept of the food is the medicine, and if we respect and if we have a better understanding about what we're putting in our body and why we're putting it in our body, we can make better choices. And we do that, we have better health.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Good Life.
If you enjoy this episode, please take a moment to subscribe and like our channel.
If you have any feedback or suggestions for future episodes, please leave us a comment down below.
If you're listening to the podcast audio version, we appreciate you just as much. Thank you for tuning into The Good Life Show.
We believe that everyone has the potential to live their best life, and we hope our show helps you get that one step closer to achieving your goal.
If you know someone who would benefit from our show, please share it with them, and thank you for your continued support.
That's it for another week's episode here on The Good Life. We'll see you next week for another inspiring conversation.